is the Creative Church Show. Tips, tricks, and shortcuts making church media easy for you and your team. All in under 10 minutes each week.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Creative Church Show. In this episode, we are going to be talking about how you can shoot video that doesn't suck. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Creative Church Show. My name is Josh, and I am your host for today. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can shoot video that doesn't suck. And before you close out iTunes or whatever you're listening on, I just want to let you know that we're not going to be talking about camera equipment or ISO settings or any of that stuff. Today we're just going to be looking at it from a 30,000 foot view down. We're going to be looking at 6 techniques that you can use to make your videos better, regardless of what camera you're using. If you're using an iPhone or you're using a DSLR, or you've got a really expensive video camera that you use at your church, whatever it is, these are just some general tips that will help you shoot videos that are more compelling, that tell a better story, and help you get your message out there in a clear and precise way. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first tip. And the first tip seems pretty obvious for most of us who've been shooting videos for any amount of time. Maybe you've learned this the hard way. The first thing that you need to do is to have a tripod. A lot of us think that we can keep our hands steady enough to make the footage okay. And if you're shooting an interview with the pastor or telling a testimony story via video, you have to have a tripod or some sort of stabilization method. There's been tons of times where I've gone out to shoot videos out in the community and I've thought, well, I can keep it stable. But the truth is that I can't keep it stable, and then I get back and none of the footage is actually something that I can use. So I would highly recommend that you spend the money and the time to get the right tripod. You can go to Walmart, you can go to Target, but those tripods are not going to be very stable if there's any sort of movement at all. So I would highly recommend that the first thing you do to get better quality videos right now is to get a tripod. If you're using an iPhone or an Android or a phone, there's so many things that you can get on Amazon and eBay that will attach to a tripod and your iPhone. But the first key thing you have to do is to get a tripod so that you can start to shoot better, stable quality videos. After you get that good solid tripod and you're ready to go shoot a video, the most important thing that you need to do is to learn how to shoot like a director. And what I mean by that is, I can't tell you how many times that I've went out and shot some footage and I didn't put any thought to it on the front end, and I get back to edit it and I can't tell the right story. I can't tell the story that I envisioned because I didn't get all the shots that were necessary. So it is so vital and important for you before you shoot video for your church to plan it out, to storyboard it out, however it is that you want to know the story beforehand. That is so important for you and your team. And if you've got multiple people shooting video, it's so important that they know exactly what it is that you are envisioning for this project. So you must learn to think like a director, and once you do, you'll be able to tell stories better than you ever have before. The next thing you need to get high quality video is to make sure that you go light on the zoom. This applies to iPhones, DSLRs, and any other cameras you might have. I learned very quickly that the more you use the zoom on a camera, the more pixelated and amateurish your footage is going to look. So those times when I wanted to get a nice tight shot of somebody's face or some action going on, I used to just use that zoom on the camera and try to zoom in as tight as I could. And then when I got back, the footage always appeared to be grainy and I could barely use it. So what I've learned is to zoom with my feet, if you will. So when I need a tight shot, when I need something, if it's at all possible, I will do my best to move the camera closer to the action, to move the camera closer to the talent or the individual that's getting interviewed. And that has really increased the quality of my video. So instead of zooming in the camera, I'm moving the camera closer to that person and allowing the camera to catch better, higher quality video so that the camera's not straining to get light inside the lens. That is one of the ways that I've seen the biggest increase in getting higher quality videos, whether it's recording a sermon video or just a quick Instagram video. Just moving my body forward has always helped me get that higher quality that we're all looking for. The next way that you can start getting better video quality right away seems pretty obvious, but it's basically just pay attention. A lot of us have thought that we could look at the screen on our DSLR or look at the screen on our iPhone, and maybe the image was a little off, maybe the coloring's a little off, maybe the white balance is a little off. So we automatically just assume that we can go back and do some color correction and make the video look really nice. The truth of the matter is that that is not true. So when you are shooting video, make sure that it looks good on whatever device you're shooting on, because there's not a lot of editors out there who can take poor video, poor coloring, poor white balance, and make that video good. So the fourth way that you're going to be able to get that better quality video is to simply pay attention to what you're looking at, to be able to see the colors, to be able to see the proper zoom, to be able to see the proper focus. If you don't see those on your screen when you're shooting it, you're not going to be able to make it better when you go put it in Final Cut or Premiere Pro or whatever editing software you use. So pay attention while you're shooting to what you're looking at. And I would highly recommend that you get an external monitor of some kind for your camera so that you will be able to see exactly what you will see when you go back to edit it. The fifth way that you're going to see better results from your video right away is to not shoot things that are boring. Now in the church world, sometimes the pastor will come or the leadership will come and say, hey, can you video this so that we can put it online, or they want to be able to show it to volunteers who couldn't make it. And the truth is, whatever they're asking you to shoot is so boring that nobody would ever want to watch that on video. And so we just have to make sure that when we are capturing video, that we are paying attention to the excitement. It's probably not a great idea if you're a multi-site mobile campus and you want to do a quick time-lapse shot of the setup crew setting up your mobile church, to get there so early and set up the camera that there's one or two people moving around and you aren't able to capture the entire process of setting up the mobile campus. So as you're getting ready to shoot, make sure that you're shooting things that have excitement. No matter how good you are at video, no matter how cool your camera moves are, you're not going to be able to make something that's boring exciting. People will see what the camera sees. So if the camera's looking at something boring, obviously people will see something that's boring. So make sure that you're ready to shoot when the excitement is, when the action's happening, so that you don't miss it and the video becomes boring. The last thing that's going to help you get better video quality right now is to be unique. I always tell churches as I'm talking to them about creativity or social media is to be yourself. Be who your church is. Don't just go out there and look at some of the mega churches and see the videos that they're pumping out and try to replicate those in your church, because that won't work. The only way that video is going to truly have an impact in your church and in your community is to be who you are, to be who your church identity is. Whether you like it or not, your church has an identity. Whether you know what it is or not is a whole nother podcast. But I would just encourage you, as you're shooting video, to shoot with that in mind. Don't shoot just to be cool. Don't shoot Just because you saw somebody else do the exact same video shoot, shoot because it tells your story. Shoot because it shares your identity with the people around your organization. If you can harness that and learn to do that, your stories will have far greater impact and your video will be so much more compelling if you are unique to you and your church environment. So that does it for episode 2 of the Creative Church Show. I just want to stop and seriously thank you guys for all the support that you've given to this podcast so far. Episode 1 was a huge success, had a lot of great feedback from you guys. I just really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to connect with me and let me know what you thought. Make sure that you check out joshblankenship.me. You can check out the show notes for this episode there. I'm going to link to some of the equipment that I use to shoot video for my church, and maybe it will help you get better video quality at your church. Also, don't forget to connect with me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @JDB_creative. I'd love to start a conversation with you guys about church video and shooting video that doesn't suck. I'd also love to see some of the projects that you guys are working on at your church. And I hope to see you back here for episode 3 of the Creative Church Show. Thanks again. Have a great week and do something creative that matters this week.